Do you not listen? Get on the ground!
Driver! Stop right there, please, stop!
Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at several cases of police misconduct, including an incident where officers brutally beat a man experiencing diabetic shock during a DUI stop, kicking him in the head and sides despite him being restrained. Our first incident involves officers breaking into a man's house and arresting him for simply parking his truck on the wrong road. On June 22, 2024, in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, officers were dealing with Richard McMahon, who had parked his truck crosswise in a neighborhood, preventing traffic from flowing. How they handled the situation, however, was unprofessional to say the least.
Just want to let you know that the trailer is legally parked.
Oh, so I can go park anywhere that goes exactly the way he's parked.
The way he's parked is legal. The way you were parked when I showed up was not. So I need to see your driver's license so I can issue a citation for blocking the roadway.
I didn't block the road.
Yes, you did. I saw you when you... Listen. Hey!
As seen in the footage, the officer ordered Mr. McMahon to show his driver's license, but he refused to do so. Despite being unwelcome, the officers tried to force their way into the house. This was illegal since the law assumes that homeowners grant what is known as a general license or permission for anybody to approach the front door. It is up to the homeowner whether to answer the door or not, and the police can usually not force their way into the home without a warrant. The homeowner can revoke the general license for the public to enter his property at any point. He can do this by telling someone to leave, or he can do this by otherwise telling people they are not welcome, and if the person enters or remains on the property when the homeowner has made it clear that he wants the person to leave, this is a trespass. As a result, the officers were liable for violating Mr. McMahon's fourth constitutional right, which states, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
I'm investigating a traffic crime. You do not have the right to do that. You are detained. You are detained.
Come in my house.
You are detained.
For what?
For the traffic violation I observed. I need to see your license.
You're detaining me for a traffic violation.
Yes, I am. Open the door.
You're detaining.
Come here. You are under arrest. You are under arrest. Yep, you are under arrest.
All five of you. Hey!
You got a gun?
Hey! Let me go!
Lay down.
Hey!
You are under arrest. Quit resisting.
Not resisting!
Give me your arm.
Good Lord! Hey, guys. Oh, my goodness. Don't break my...
Quit resisting.
Ow!
Quit resisting.
I'm not... Ow!
You are actively resisting against me.
I am not... Holy...
Now you're under arrest for resisting arrest, obstruction, and the parking violation.
Okay.
All right, don't move so I can get these locked.
I never resisted you to begin with.
Yes, you
All
did.
five of you hit me.
It's all on body cam, sir.
Yes, it is.
All right, we're gonna get you rolled over.
Okay.
All right. Let's stand you up.
All right. Wait.
All righty.
Can I bring anything with me?
What would you like?
My cell phone.
Where's that?
Right there.
We'll grab it. Anything else?
That should do it.
Okay.
You want your shoes?
Oh, yeah. My shoes.
There's a leash right there, Sleeper.
What's your dog's name? Pepper. Guys, why did you assault me?
Other shit.
What crime?
Parking violation. Come on. Hey.
I'm going, guys. I'm
Hey.
going. I'm going.
Hey, real quick. We did this once. Do not do
Ow!
it. Hey, stop. This can go either which way you choose.
I'm
All right?
choosing to
We
go
can peacefully walk
peacefully.
out there, or you can keep fighting us
I'll
and go
go-
back to the ground. Do you understand?
Come on, Pepper.
Yes or no?
Yes!
All right, let's go.
A physical confrontation ensued, during which the officers grabbed the victim and detained him inside his own house. With the way they were acting, the officers were liable for breaking their department's use of force policy, which states, officers shall use only the degree of force as permitted by law. The force used must be reasonably necessary based on the totality of the circumstances. Reasonably necessary means all other means to accomplish the desired action have been reasonably exhausted or would be ineffective under the circumstances.
I'm not gonna. I thought I could walk out here peacefully. I thought that.
Yeah, we shut the door. Keep walking.
Ask him, I don't know.
Yeah, what am I being with?
I told you.
Bring me over to this door back there.
Did somebody grab my thumb?
Here.
I never even tried to get rid of it or anything. You all came on me like a.
Wow. All right, Ricky, you have anything on you?
No.
Okay. Let's go, Small. There we go.
Sleeper, did you get the phone?
All right,
We get
thanks,
the phone.
Where's it at?
It was right next to that end table.
Let me get the air turned on for you.
Yep.
You could also get animal at large. You really want it.
Well, I don't think we can push the animal at large.
Yeah, I'm not willing to push that.
Did Sleeper get the dog back inside?
Yeah,
They ran
dog's back inside.
Who was that to him?
The victim was later sent to the police station. Since then, the incident between Mr. McMahon and the police remained under investigation, with the department's chief refusing to publicly state why his agency released the victim and why the officer who arrested him was sidelined while the internal affairs investigation continued. Next up, we have a case where an officer slammed an old black man into the ground. On July 26, 2021, in Orangeburg County, South Carolina, a local police officer by the name of David Lance Dukes pulled up to a civilian's house after his department received a call regarding someone walking around with a gun. How he dealt with the situation, however, was far from professional.
Hey, let me see your hands. Bert, get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground right here. Get on the ground. You, burgundy shirt, get on the ground. Over here. On the ground. On the ground. Get on the ground. Do you not listen? Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. There's a gun behind me. There's a gun, I believe, behind me.
I ain't got no gun now.
Put your hands behind your back. Is there a gun back there?
Ain't no gun.
By that truck.
No gun.
You're not listening, dude.
Despite witnessing no signs of any hostility, Officer Dukes immediately pulled out his gun, ordering the two black men inside to get on the ground. Even though one of the men, a 58-year-old by the name of Clarence Gaillard, was complying with his orders, the officer slammed the poor victim into the ground. Such brutality goes against the Officer of Law Enforcement Support Police Manual, which states officers shall use only that amount of force that reasonably appears necessary given the facts and totality of the circumstances known to or perceived by the officer at the time of the event to accomplish a legitimate law enforcement purpose. It's also important to note that another officer who was behind Officer Dukes, as seen in the footage, was also liable for breaking department rules. This is because, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, when a law enforcement officer uses excessive force or engages in other prohibited conduct, other officers on the scene must stop such action.
All right, who's the complainant? All right, get him up.
Put your leg up.
25 cents, got one tank.
Alright, put your leg that way so you can stand up.
All right, listen, I'm about to help you. Hold on. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Yep.
Listen.
Yep, they slammed my head
Listen.
down on the cement. Yep.
Go back inside. Go back in the house. Go back in the house. Ain't nobody talking to you.
I got head trauma.
Go back in the house.
Yep. Y'all bust my head down. Yeah, I've been in an accident. Yep. Y'all bust my head down. You threw me down.
I sure did. You wasn't listening.
Yeah. No, it ain't. You ain't to throw me down like that. I'm disability.
Okay.
I got head problem. Yup. You throw me down. Yup. You throw me down. You throw me down. Yup. You bust my head down on the cement. Yup. You bust my head.
All right, let me tell you what.
That's forehead.
The cement.
Your head did hit the cement.
Damn right. Cause you.
Where's the complainant?
You bust my head down on the cement.
Right here?
You bust my head. You bust my head.
Where's the complainant?
You bust my head down.
I'm trying to get the name of the complainant.
You
So
bust my head. You bust my head down on the cement. If you ain't nobody who got no you bust my head down. Hell no. Ain't nobody had no gun. I live right there. Ain't nobody had no gun. I ain't got no more phone. I ain't got nothing in me.
Putting your change right in your pocket.
Damn right. You slam me, you slam my head down. Hold on. Okay. Yeah.
What are we doing? Guess Sam was going to check him out.
There ain't nothing about here on the press charges.
Who called?
I'm not sure.
Take him out of cuffs right now. I mean, because that's what we got.
You're going to have to use the force.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Slam my head down.
Dude, I didn't know what his
You
intention
use
was.
the force. You need to have a look at the camera.
The officer did wrong. Slam my head down. Bust my forehead. Damn right. You gonna pay me for that shit.
Mayor, I'm going to take that into evidence of what he had.
What?
Well, I mean, that's the reasons I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm coming from.
No gun or nothing.
Because when he was behind the truck, I couldn't see what he was doing. And I didn't know where
There ain't nothing there.
that went. If it was still in his pockets when he come around that car with his hands in his pockets.
These dogs officer.
Got it on camera.
Yeah, my
All
dog
right,
stick.
that's fine.
Dog stick.
So he can come out of cuffs?
Yes. Take him out of handcuffs.
Yeah, he can come out.
You want me to check you out?
you mind looking? Good, how are you? What's going on?
Officer slammed my forehead down in the cement.
Okay.
You were wrong for that.
Consciousness?
Yeah. Listen.
Can I get a card from you?
I don't have one there.
Okay,
We don't have
what's your
they
badge
don't
number?
give us cars.
Okay, what's your badge number?
1059.
Let me see if I can get my phone. Hold on.
Hold on, we have cards.
I can't get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Go to
you.
the hospital?
Yeah.
Alright. Just call me.
Brandon, he can get his stuff off the car.
What you say, baby?
1059.
After a couple of minutes, medical personnel arrived at the scene and rushed Mr. Gaillard to a hospital for treatment. After the incident, Officer Duke was immediately terminated from the city's public safety department. Furthermore, after facing a lawsuit filed by the victim, the city of Orangeburg settled it at $650,000, with the funds being paid through the city's insurance carrier. Moving on, we have a case where officers tackled and brutally detained a deaf man who was unable to understand what they were telling him. On September 18, 2019, in Idaho Springs, Colorado, a deaf man by the name of Brady Mystic allegedly ran a stop sign before he pulled into the parking lot of a laundromat, unaware that two officers from the local police department, Nicholas Hanning and Ellie Summers, followed him. The following body cam footage shows what happened next.
Victor 17. Sit back in your car. Sit back in your car.
Run up on us like that? Excuse me? Who do you think you are? Stop! We're in a fight. We're in a fight.
Get your arm behind your back, right now.
Mr. Mystic is deaf in both ears and primarily uses sign language to communicate with others. Due to this, the victim was incapable of understanding the officers. Even so, this did not justify the fact that both officers immediately grabbed the victim and slammed him onto the ground, since according to the Idaho Springs Police Department's use of force policy, officers shall use only that amount of force that reasonably appears necessary given the facts and circumstances perceived by the officer at the time of the event to accomplish a legitimate law enforcement purpose.
Get your arms behind your back right now. Arms behind your back right now, or I'm gonna tase you.
Tase him.
Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Other hand behind your back. Now. Other hand. Now. I'm sorry.
Even though the officers had already restrained Mr. Mystic on the ground, they continued to persecute the victim by tasing him. This was unacceptable since, according to the ACLU's taser policy, authorized personnel may use the taser when circumstances known to the individual officer at the time indicate that such application of the taser is reasonable to control a person in any of the following circumstances. A. The subject is violent or physically resisting. B. A subject who, by words or action, has demonstrated an intention to be violent or to physically resist, and who reasonably appears to present the potential to harm officers, him, herself, or others. C. Reasonable belief that an individual has committed or threatened to commit a serious offense. Mere flight from pursuing officers shall not serve as good cause for the use of the taser to apprehend an individual. It's also important to note that the officers gave no verbal warning before using the taser. Therefore, they had once again violated the ACLU taser policy, which states, a verbal warning of the intended use of the taser should precede its application unless it would otherwise endanger the safety of officers or when it is not practicable due to the circumstances. The purpose of the warning is to provide the individual with a reasonable opportunity to voluntarily comply and to provide other officers and individuals with a warning that a taser may be deployed.
Stay down.
What do you want? You want to stop me?
Don't run at us like that.
I'm down.
Just sit down.
What?
You're deaf?
Yeah. What do you want?
Stay sitting down. Stay sitting down. Stay down.
Taser deployed, and can you have one respond to our location, please? Start medical.
After a while, the officers placed Mr. Mystic in the car and waited for a responder to arrive at their location. Once they arrived, the victim was taken to a hospital for an evaluation and was later transferred to the Clear Creek County Jail. After having spent 4 months in there, he unsurprisingly filed a lawsuit with the U.S. District Court in Denver against officers Nicholas Hanning and Ellie Summers, the City of Idaho Springs, and the Board of County Commissioners of Clear Creek County. Furthermore, the victim asked for compensation for physical and emotional harm, pain and suffering, permanent scarring, and economic damages, as well as punitive sanctions against the individual officers to punish and deter the blatant abuse of authority and violation of rights evident here. As a result, Officer Ellie Summers left the department weeks after the lawsuit. As of the date of this recording, however, no new information has been made available regarding the lawsuit. Now, we have a case where officers released their K-9 companion in a racially motivated attack against a helpless black man who was leaving for work. On April 24, 2020, in Salt Lake City, Utah, Jeffrey Ryans, a train engineer, was preparing to leave for work when suddenly, officers from the local police department showed up at his house and arrested him. The reason for this was that they received a report regarding domestic abuse and were therefore acting on the justification of a restraining order against Mr. Ryans. What's important to note, however, is that his wife had already lifted it. Nevertheless, the way the officers handled the situation was unprofessional to say the least.
Hey, get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground or you're gonna get bit! Police department, get on the ground! Come out here! What's your name? What's your name? Get out here! Come out here right now! Keep your hands up. Come out here. Come here! You're gonna get bit. Get out here, you're gonna get bit. He's trying to jump the fence, shoot. Get on the ground. Get on the ground or you're going to get bit. Get on the ground. Yeah. Get on the ground. On the ground. All the way down. On the ground.
I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground. Why are you biting me? No, I'm on the ground. Stop.
Good boy.
You guys out.
Good boy. Good boy. What the? Good boy.
Despite complying with the officer's orders and showing no signs of hostility, Officer Pierce still ordered his K-9 to bite Mr. Ryan's leg. According to the use of police K-9 policy, K-9 apprehension is justifiable and a lawful use of force if the threat to officers and/or public is significant. The need for force must be sufficient to justify the K-9 apprehension. The circumstances of the event confronting the officer determine whether the use of force was lawful or unlawful. However, since the circumstances of the event did not warrant the use of a K-9 unit, Officer Pierce had violated this policy. It's also important to note that the officers were arresting the victim on his private property, which meant that they were liable for violating Mr. Ryan's fourth constitutional right.
Good boy!
Why are you guys doing this? Ow!
Good boy! Good boy!
Why are you
Good
crying?
boy! Good boy! Good boy!
Ow!
Good.
Ow! She let me in. Ow!
Good boy! Good boy!
Ow! What did I do? Oh my God! Ow!
Good boy! You good, Kevin?
Ow!
Good one.
Ow! Ow!
Good.
Stop!
House.
Holy
House. Good boy.
Just get my work clothes.
Even though the officers had restrained the victim, they allowed their hound to continue biting his leg. According to the Salt Lake City Police Department's use of force policy, officers shall use only that amount of force that reasonably appears necessary given the facts and circumstances perceived by the officer at the time of the event to accomplish a legitimate law enforcement purpose. Furthermore, the other officers present were also liable of breaking their department's duty to intervene policy, which states, any member present and observing another law enforcement officer of this or another agency using force that is clearly beyond that which is objectively reasonable under the circumstances shall, when in a position to do so, take reasonable action to interrupt the flow of events and stop the use of force.
If I want me medical for a dog bite.
For a dog bite? What? I just get my going to work.
I copy.
Christ.
Commission.
40-year-old male, conscious breathing, dog bite to the leg. Bro, you got a good, you're listening great now. You weren't listening good a minute ago.
Here. Jesus.
When I yell out police, get on the ground, you didn't know I was here? Boy, what's it?
After the incident, Mr. Ryans was immediately sent to the hospital and underwent multiple surgeries, resulting in a permanent injury and a limp that would remain for the rest of his life. Unsurprisingly, he immediately filed a lawsuit in a federal court, alleging that Officer Pierce used unreasonable and unnecessary force against him, and that Officer Jukes violated department policy by not intervening. He also claimed that the Salt Lake City Police Department did not properly train their canine apprehension team to use less destructive and dangerous alternatives than having a dog attack someone. Unfortunately, as of the date of this recording, no new information has been made available regarding this case. Next up, we have a case where officers ruthlessly beat up a man who was experiencing a diabetic shock during a DUI stop. On October 29, 2010, in Henderson, Nevada, local police officers pulled over 38-year-old Adam Green to conduct a DUI stop. Unbeknownst to the officers, however, Mr. Green was experiencing diabetic shock. Regardless of his current condition, the officer's handling of the situation was inadequate nonetheless.
Driver! Do not move! Do not move! Hey, come over here!
As seen in the footage, an officer held Mr. Green at gunpoint and kicked his window to prevent him from fleeing in his car. It should be noted that even the act of brandishing a firearm can have dire consequences. An example of this is an event that occurred in the city of Phoenix, where its city council agreed to pay $475,000 to a family in 2020 after one of its officers approached their parked car with his gun drawn. As reported in the Arizona Republic at the time, the husband and wife were in the car with their 2 young daughters when a police officer suddenly came up and started banging on the window with a gun, saying that he was going to shoot them in the face. It should also be noted that the other officers present were also liable for breaking their department's duty to intercede policy, which states, any officer present and observing another officer using excessive force or engaged in unlawful conduct or violation of the Henderson Police Department's Code of Conduct policy has an affirmative obligation to intercede and report.
Hands up! Hands up! Take him on the wrist lock and get him out. Do not move! Hey, driver, do not move! Car's moving. I got it! I got it! Go ahead. Get on the ground! Stop resisting!
Despite already having Mr. Green restrained, the officers pushed the victim to the ground and kicked him in the head and sides. This was without a doubt completely unnecessary and unlawful, since according to the U.S. Department of Justice's policy on the use of force, officers may use force only when no reasonably effective, safe, and feasible alternative appears to exist, and may use only the level of force that a reasonable officer on the scene would use under the same or similar circumstances.
10-5, copy. You guys got him, 1 in custody. Number 2 is cleared code red at 419.
Anybody hurt? Anybody hurt? I don't think she's like this. Medical. George 4692.
George 4692.
All right, we found some insulin in his pocket. Rule 52, tell him to expedite. He's semi-conscious. I got him. Thank you. Anybody hurt, guys? What about you, Troop? You good? Yeah, I see that. Hey, we got medical coming through. If you can... George 4692.
George 4692, go ahead.
All right, let's get medical out of here. He's a diabetic. He's probably in a shock. Semi-conscious.
Mr. Green was eventually taken to a local hospital and treated for his injuries, which included 2 broken ribs, cuts, and a black eye. After receiving treatment, he filed a lawsuit against the city of Henderson and the state of Nevada. As part of the settlement, Green received $158,000 from the city and $35,000 from the state for police use of battery, assault, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Moving on, we have a case where officers arrested a black woman who called for help after her neighbor threatened to shoot her. On March 5, 2019, in Miami, Florida, the local police department responded to a call from a black woman, Dima Loving, stating that her neighbor had called her and her friend Adriana Green hookers and racial epithets, along with threatening to shoot them with a shotgun. Upon arriving at the scene, officers Alejandro Geraldo and JF Calderon conversed with the women who made the call.
What, alright, so which one of you called him
I did, after he called
You
me.
did. So who lives there?
Me.
You live there, and that's your friend?
Yeah, I live next door,
Next
not
door, they
there.
live next door.
He called me a hook. He's
First?
been calling me a hook.
We didn't even say anything. We
You
didn't say
didn't
nothing.
say
We were walking on the.
anything.
He was
Okay.
like,
Fine,
And
that's
then
fine.
and then we was like, like, you know, I'm not gonna sit there and let you call me out of my name,
So he-
especially
so
you've
he
been
called you
doing it the
first.
past few days, and no, that's not
Okay.
cool. Like, he's sitting here in his
How
yard.
come you haven't called the police first?
Why am I gonna call the police for him calling me names? I'll just take my the house. But he pulled out a freaking.
He pulled out a gun.
A
he pulled his
shotgun.
hand, pointed it at my face.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
And told me he was gonna shoot
didn't
me,
get a chance to
and
catch
I
my
didn't even got nothing to do with it.
What color was the shotgun?
I just saw the black barrel. It was
Black barrel?
long.
Okay,
It's long.
It's a
Okay, hear me out. So, he called you you call him.
called me. He called me up. It was like hook. It was
Okay,
like
but what I'm trying to figure out is at which point you actually stay on scene just to go to battle with him.
We did
It
not stay on
happened
scene. We
fast.
were
Give me 1
walking
second.
down the street.
I'm asking her. Give me 1 second. Y'all screaming over here. I'm trying to figure it out.
we're not. It's
Okay,
not.
hear me
We're
out.
not trying to scream. You know, we're
Okay,
like.
You're
it
just,
doesn't matter.
I get it. You're
Yeah.
reacting, but
No,
just.
no, no.
He gets it. Why can't you get it?
No,
No, no,
I don't
I
like
get
to
it, but
scream at
I
We're
don't
not
like the
trying
tone
to
of
scream at
voice.
you, Like we're trying to explain.
So now,
Stop talking.
okay, so now, so he called you you called him a at which point, if you see him going back inside the house,
He didn't go in the house.
He had that with him already.
He already, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
All I
know.
know is he bent down, picked it up, and told me he was gonna shoot me in the head. That's what he told me.
It happened.
He
fast.
never went in the house.
Never went in the
He
house.
never went in the
turned his
house.
back.
you saw it right there.
So
he
he- so
picked
he-
it up from the
Bent
floor.
down. He has a bunch of trees.
And
All
went
we
like
know
that.
is he turned and
went
came
like
up like
that.
this.
Okay, give me a sec.
During the conversation, one of the officers turned around and left to confirm something. Meanwhile, the other stayed behind and continued listening to the victims.
He was in the fence the whole time. We were right here. Like, is there cameras out here that can prove this? There's street cameras. There's
Okay, where are they?
He got cameras saying he got cameras. It's a camera right there. Y'all need to do something.
Oh yeah, and you need to chill out.
I
Okay,
just asked if I could go down next door and
you need
call
to
my
chill out.
kids.
You need to chill out because
Excuse
now you're gonna
me.
be arrested.
Excuse me.
You're being disorderly right now.
I'm asking.
You
I'm talking to
are
her.
gonna be arrested.
I'm talking to this lady.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more chance. If you don't calm down, I'm gonna bring you in.
I'm calm.
The situation suddenly escalated when Officer Geraldo threatened to arrest Miss Loving after she raised her voice. However, Officer Geraldo wasn't allowed to arrest her since she was protected by the First Amendment, which states, "The First Amendment guarantees freedoms concerning religion, expression, assembly, and the right to petition. It forbids Congress from both promoting one religion over others and also restricting an individual's religious practices. It guarantees freedom of expression by prohibiting Congress from restricting the press or the rights of individuals to speak freely. It also guarantees the right of citizens to assemble peaceably and to petition their government.
I'm calm. I just want to go talk to my kids. I have a very important phone call.
Okay.
I just asked if I could go next door and charge my phone. My daughter is sick. I don't have time for this.
You're screaming again.
I'm freaking out.
Second time, okay? You are acting disorderly. You will be arrested, okay?
Got a gun
Get it
pointed in
right.
my face. My
Okay,
daughter's
we're gonna
sick.
help you
I
out.
need to-
We're trying
We're
to
gonna help you out.
Listen, we're here to investigate. Just calm down.
You know what? She needs to be made corrected, if
Okay.
anything.
Calm
All
down.
right?
Despite having explained that she needed to go home to her sick daughter and kids, the officer still attempted to arrest her instead of trying to de-escalate the situation. According to the U.S. Department of Justice's de-escalation policy, officers will be trained in de-escalation tactics and techniques designed to gain voluntary compliance from a subject before using force, and such tactics and techniques should be employed if objectively feasible, and they would not increase the danger to the officer or others. When feasible, reducing the need for force allows officers to secure their safety as well as the safety of the public. According to Lesnetsky-Gahan law, officers must have probable cause to believe the person committed the crime. Since no crime had been committed, though, the officers had no reason to arrest Miss Loving. It should also be noted that Officer Geraldo's misconduct was further highlighted when he kept interrupting a female officer who arrived at the scene a few minutes ago trying to de-escalate the situation.
Why do I have to be corrected when my life was just threatened and my daughter's sick? I just want to go
Are you
next
gonna
door
continue
and charge my
screaming?
phone. Do not touch me.
Stop.
Do not touch me.
Stop.
Do not touch me.
Stop
Do
messing
not
up.
record this.
Stop
Do not
messing
touch
up.
me. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. I just said I wanted to call my kids.
Officers Geraldo and Calderon ignored any attempt to de-escalate the situation and proceeded to arrest Miss Loving by slamming her to the ground. As a result, the officers had violated their department's use of force policy, which states, officers shall use only that amount of force that is objectively reasonable under the totality of the circumstances known to the officer at the time the force is used. Force may appear necessary at the time the force is used given the facts and circumstances perceived by the officer at the time of the event to accomplish a legitimate law enforcement purpose.
Behind your back.
I just said I wanted to call my kids. My phone is dead. What do you not understand? I got a gun pointed in front of me and my kids is sick. I'm stressed out. I need to go call my children. I need to call my kids. I don't know.
It's important to note that the female officer who was at the scene did nothing to intervene in her peer's brutality. As a result, she violated their department's duty to intervene policy, which states, a law enforcement officer who witnesses another law enforcement officer in the performance of his or her official duties, using or attempting to use excessive force against another person shall intervene when such intervention is objectively reasonable and possible to end the use or attempted use of excessive force, or to prevent the further use or attempted use of excessive force. After the incident, outrage spread through many communities across the county over the officer's actions. Furthermore, Ms. Loving filed a lawsuit against the Miami-Dade Police Department, the county, and the officers involved. The lawsuit claimed false arrest, false imprisonment, malicious prosecution, negligent hiring and retention, negligent failure to train and supervise, deprivation of civil rights by excessive use of force, battery, conspiracy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, among other claims. Meanwhile, Officer Geraldo was sentenced by a judge to 364 days in jail, followed by 18 months of probation, along with a requirement to attend anger management classes. Here, we have a case where a routine traffic stop escalated into a serious situation, resulting in a black man receiving a lethal injury to the head. On October 21, 2021, in Gwinnett County, Georgia, local police officers pulled over a vehicle that was driving with a broken taillight. Instead of following standard procedure and issuing a ticket, however, the officers removed the driver from his car and placed him in their patrol vehicle. They then proceeded to do the same with the passenger, 43-year-old Angelo Black, supposedly to frisk him for any weapons or illegal substances. However, what should have been a routine procedure quickly became something more.
Highway 03 up across the Oak Street Drive. They're going to be in a white male, brown hat, brown sweater. You got anything on you, man? Alright, if I search you right quick. Alright, place hands up on your head. Come up there, calm down. I'll bring your feet on. Keep your hands on your head.
During a traffic stop for a minor infraction like a broken taillight, officers are typically required to issue a ticket to the driver, with fines ranging from $10 to $200. Furthermore, it's important to note that under the law, officers may only conduct a frisk if it meets two key requirements under the Terry Frisk and Totality of the Circumstances doctrine. 1. The suspect must be lawfully detained during an investigative detention, meaning the detention must be based on reasonable suspicion that criminal activity is afoot. 2. The officer must reasonably believe that the suspect is armed and dangerous. By detaining the driver and subsequently removing Mr. Black from the vehicle, the officers arguably violated their fourth constitutional rights. This is because the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution originally enforced the notion that each man's home is his castle, secure from unreasonable searches and seizures of property by the government. It protects against arbitrary arrests and is the basis of the law regarding search warrants, stop and frisk, safety inspections, wiretaps, and other forms of surveillance, as well as being central to many other criminal law topics and privacy law.
Stop right there, please, stop! Please, stop! Stay up there, I got him. Oh,
2-3.
583 to radio. 583 to radio. Signal 4, one time, code 1. Black male, laceration to his head, fell off a wall. Hold on, sir. Lay on your side. It's on your side.
Start signal 4.
Yeah, I just did.
Oh, my back.
Yeah. 583 to radio. Also, one officer is injured from falling off the wall. Hold on, man.
As Officer Chase Weber began to unlawfully search Mr. Black, he suddenly made a run for it. The officers gave chase and, during the pursuit, tased him. Unfortunately, due to the officer's lack of foresight, the victim fell from a median and slammed his head against the pavement. Some might argue that the officer was justified in using the taser on a fleeing suspect. However, according to the department's taser policy, authorized users should avoid deploying the ECW on persons next to swimming pools, on elevated platforms, or other places where a fall can be more injurious. Therefore, not only was he not justified to tase him, but by doing so, the officer had also violated this policy.
Hold on, man. Stay on your side. Stay on your side. Get closer. We need you got some clothes right now. And we're gonna need somebody else to stay with him. 583 to radio. If you can also start a couple more units. Hey, no, hold on, don't move, lay down, don't move. We got an ambulance coming, don't move, we got an ambulance coming. Lay down, you got a laceration on your head. Lay down, we have an ambulance coming. You need to stay still. I need you to lay down. Sir, I need you to lay down. I have an ambulance coming. Hold on, man. I've already let him know that you're hurt, and I got him too. You got gloves? Hold on. Well, I got an ambulance coming. Stay still. Just sit down. Do you have any gloves on you, man?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, my back.
Just lay down. Yeah. No, stay still.
Stop.
Lay down, man. I got an ambulance coming for you. You need to lay down. Lay down. We have an ambulance coming, man. You need to lay down, and I need you to stay still. Do not move. You have a laceration on your head. No, they're not. They're both hurt. He jumped off the wall, then he hit his head, and he hurt his back off the wall. Stay still. Got an ambulance coming for you. I need you to stay still. Weber, you stretch out too, man. He started running as soon as he jumped off this wall. He tased him. He hit his head right here. He fell off. He jumped off the wall, hurt his back. So,
one of the officers immediately requested medical authorities. Following the incident, both the victim and the officer were attended to by medical responders. Mr. Black was taken to a local hospital where he was diagnosed with skull and brain injuries. Unfortunately, he continued to suffer from emotional distress and significant PTSD-type symptoms, including anxiety, depression, and flashbacks. Understandably, he filed a lawsuit against the police for their actions, seeking punitive damages for what his attorneys described as willful, malicious, wanton, reckless, and fraudulent conduct. The lawsuit argued that Officer Weber knew or should have known that deploying his taser could result in death or serious bodily injury. One of Mr. Black's attorneys, Harry M. Daniels, emphasized that officers are strictly prohibited from deploying stun guns when a suspect is in an elevated position due to the risk of serious injury. Another attorney representing Mr. Black, Reginald Green, pointed out that black people often run from the police out of fear that they will be harmed or worse. Unfortunately, as of the date of this recording, no new information has emerged regarding this case. Moving on, we have a case where an officer tased an unarmed African-American male while he was handcuffed and detained. On July 16, 2018, in Meridian, Mississippi, local officers were dispatched to apprehend a suspected shoplifter fleeing from a Walmart in a van. After a brief chase, they successfully intercepted the driver before he could escape. What happened next, however, was shocking to say the least.
Dodge, silver in color, Andre Wilson. H1 Central, still be out with 10-4 H1, Alpha 6, you got him stopped.
Despite the driver's compliance and lack of hostility, Patrol Officer Daniel Starks struck the man twice. By doing so, the officer violated his department's use of force policy, which clearly states, officers shall use only that amount of force that reasonably appears necessary given the facts and circumstances perceived by the officer at the time to accomplish a legitimate law enforcement purpose.
4-6, you'll stop. Tampa 1, Pearl Lauderdale 19, they stopped in front of the gas station.
Without warning, Officer Stark tased the victim in the back of his left shoulder, causing him to collapse while screaming in pain. Clearly, the officer had violated his department's taser policy, which states, the taser device may be used when the circumstances perceived by the officer at the time indicate that such application is reasonably necessary to control a person. Some specific circumstances include A, the subject is violent or is physically resisting, B, the subject has demonstrated, by words or action, an intention to be violent or to physically resist, and reasonably appears to present the potential to harm officers, themselves, or others.
Alpha 6, Hotel 1, 1013. 615. Which gas is this? I believe they're going to be stopped in front of the Murphys. Okay, since we're going to be right in front of Walmart's Murphys.
Other officers rushed to assist the victim, who was in excruciating pain. Officer Stark, on the other hand, grabbed a hold of the victim's neck and forced him to stand up. Since the officer was holding his neck, he could be considered to have been administering a chokehold, which is a violation of a nationally adopted policy. Specifically, the SCRJ model policy defines chokeholds as lethal hands-on maneuvers that may cut off the supply of blood and oxygen to the brain, and includes under this definition strangleholds, neck restraints, and carotid restraints. Any and all chokeholds are prohibited under this policy. In the chokeholds chapter, the model policy also outlines directives and prohibitions on breathing impairments. Breathing impairments include strikes to the neck and positional asphyxia. While the victim was still on the ground, the officer once again pointed the stun gun at him, demanding that he stand up or face another taser discharge. It's also important to note that the other officers who witnessed what was happening, yet chose not to interfere, violated their department's duty to intercede policy, which states, any officer present and observing another officer using force that is clearly beyond what is objectively reasonable under the circumstances shall, when in a position to do so, intercede to prevent the use of unreasonable force. An officer who observes another employee using force that exceeds the degree permitted by law shall promptly report these observations to a supervisor. After the incident, Officer Starks was initially suspended without pay, but was later terminated by the police department. After having been fired, he was soon sent to court for a sentencing hearing, in which the now former Officer Starks would have to face a statutory maximum punishment of up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Now, we're about to look at a case involving an officer who dragged a woman across the pavement during a jail booking. On November 17, 2022, in Tampa, Florida, local officers were dispatched to arrest a woman who had been sleeping outside a family health center and was refusing to leave the property. How the officers handled the situation, however, was unprofessional to say the least.
Come on, walk to my car. Walk to my car.
Why you saying that but pulling me? So go on and drag me, because that's what you're doing anyway.
If you ain't walking, just walk to my car.
How you gonna tell me that, but you pulling me as you said, it didn't say it yet.
Well, we're just trying to lead you over here this way.
Okay, you're doing it too. I feel the force on you too.
Don't be nasty.
That's y'all department. Welcome home.
Don't be nasty.
You're manly. If you gonna call me nasty, you're manly.
I'm not call you nasty. I'm saying don't be nasty.
You know, don't tell me what not to be when y'all doing it to me.
Right here, second person.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on you that can harm me, poke me, stick me?
After placing the woman inside their vehicle, Officer Gregory Damon drove towards Orient Road Jail to book her in. Upon arriving, however, some complications arose.
Miss Marshall, come on, get out the car.
When the f I got the right to get out the car when I had a right to get in the car?
Miss Marshall, get out the car, come on. Miss Marshall, I'm gonna drag you out of this car.
I already know.
I don't want to drag you out, but I need you to come get out the car.
I want you to do what you did off the porch of the doctor's office.
Come on.
Drag me.
Come on.
I want you to drag me.
Come on.
I ain't
Kick your feet out.
I ain't kicking it out. Unless you be telling me to open my legs for your dump.
Come on.
Yeah, that's what you gonna have to do. That's what you did at the porch. That's what you want to do, and I want you to get that feeling. Guess why? Because I was raised a tomboy in Central Park projects. So guess what? I'm used to being rough. Yep.
Stand up.
You want me by your don't.
Stand up.
You want me by? You can't pick my up, can you? That's what the officer was jealous.
Stand
of.
up. Come on.
He couldn't pick my big up. He was jealous of my big. You want me in this position, don't you? I'm a tomboy. Central Park, you ain't heard me at all. CPV, no. Central Park projects, tomboy. Jump walls.
When the woman refused to get out of the vehicle upon arriving at the station, the officer dragged the woman by her arm to the station entrance. This was unacceptable since the correct procedure in this case would have been to request assistance from the booking staff, remove the person from the vehicle, and secure them in a restraining chair to be rolled into the intake. Throughout the encounter, the woman used vulgar language with Officer Damon, responding in kind using rude comments. The TPD also commented on Officer Damon's behavior in a statement saying, rather than remaining professional, the officer himself made rude and derogatory comments to the arrestee.
Hold on the roof, nigga. Man, because you can't pick my bitch up.
Hey, fattest.
Look, I went to Allwood High School. Guess how much I lift weights? 130 pounds. I bet you can't even bitch 130 pounds. That's why your officer was mad. He could see I lift the weights at Allwood. He don't like my build. You Bob was the motherfucking officer that arrested me. Shit. Yep. And tell Deputy she got some nerves to think I would want to be a deputy. I wanted to motherhood. Fuck a deputy.
Do what?
I grew up around officers doing dumb shit.
Yeah, she ain't walking, so I mean, I can drag her in, but.
Deputy for you want to look into being a deputy? What the?
After the incident, the officer brought the woman inside and booked her in. Furthermore, an internal investigation was conducted revealing that the officer had violated numerous policies, including those related to searching, transporting, and booking prisoners, courtesy to the public, reporting responses to resistance, treatment of persons in custody, and more. Subsequently, Officer Damon was later terminated by the Tampa Police Department. Moving on, we have a case where officers arrested a black woman by pepper spraying her in front of her daughter. On February 22, 2021, in Rochester, New York, an officer stopped a black mother and her 3-year-old daughter, accusing them of shoplifting from a Rite Aid store. The following footage showcases what transpired next.
Open that store. Oh, come on. They said you stole. What'd you take? Tell me who you took.
Oh, Lester, sir.
Tell me the truth.
No, I'm going to tell you the
Okay,
truth.
I don't have time for BS, so you better be quick with me.
Yeah, Lester.
Okay, what's up?
Okay, so I walked in the store, right?
Right.
Right there. He said I picked up something.
Okay.
Now, I could, if I picked up something.
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you.
Yeah, show me. You got to show me. You just set the kid down here.
So nothing. There's like diapers, wipes and stuff in this stuff. Nothing in this.
What are they saying you stole?
He said I stole. I don't even know. He just said he was going to call y'all.
All right. Watch this. I'm going to have him check. Once he confirms you didn't steal, you're out of here. But you have to stay with me.
What?
Yep. Hey. Oh, we got a female running through Portland. She's running through Mojo's here. Hey, come here. Stop.
During the conversation, the mother tried explaining to the officer what had happened in the store. Despite her explanation, the officer remained unconvinced and waited for another deputy to arrive. Shortly afterward, though, he noticed the woman fleeing the scene whilst carrying her daughter.
Stop.
I did not do anything.
Hey, we're right in the parking lot here. Would you stop backing up?
Okay.
Put the kid down.
Okay.
Put the kid down. Put your arms behind your back now. Put your arms behind your back. Stop. Turn around. Stop. Relax. Turn over so I can cuff you. We're gonna cuff you. You need to stop.
She's fine.
Would you stop? I have to cuff you. I have to cuff you.
I did not.
Okay. Are you gonna get on the ground?
The officer caught up to the woman and began arresting her. Although there was no evidence to prove she had stolen from the store, the officer continued to restrain her. This led to a physical struggle in which the officer threw the woman onto the ground. This was completely unacceptable since, according to his department's use of force policy, members are only authorized to use force that is objectively reasonable, necessary, and proportional under the totality of the circumstances to effect a lawful purpose, including to ensure the safety of a member or third person, stop an attack, make an arrest, control a person evading a member's lawful commands, or prevent escape. Consequently, his actions also resulted in him violating his department's failure to follow policy, which states, members who fail to respond to resistance under departmental policies and the law may be subjected to departmental discipline, criminal prosecution, and/or civil liability.
Stop! Relax! Stop! What are you? Bill, come over here. Stop! Relax! You're okay. It's okay. She's fine. Just relax, please.
I didn't steal anything.
Stop grabbing your daughter. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want your daughter to get hurt. Get on the ground. Stop! Stop grabbing your daughter! Stop! Let go. Oh my God! What is wrong with her? Stop moving. Okay, I don't want you to get hurt. You're under arrest. Stop resisting.
Soon after, another deputy arrived at the scene and assisted in detaining the mother. While the deputy was busy with the child, however, the officer forced the victim to turn around, pulled out his pepper spray, and sprayed it at her eyes with her daughter watching as she stood by, crying. To no one's surprise, the officer had yet again violated another department policy, which states, officers should consider issuing a verbal warning before using OC against an individual. Consider the likelihood that a warning will convince a person to comply with instructions against the likelihood that the warning may cause him or her to cover their face or otherwise try to defeat the use of the spray. Once a suspect is incapacitated or restrained and no longer a threat to persons or property, the use of OC is no longer justified. OC spray will not be used punitively.
What? I know! I'm trying to help her, bro! I didn't hit you. Okay, alright. I don't care. You're okay. Here. I didn't want you to get hurt, okay? You're okay. Dude, yeah, I know! Get her! Can you hit her or not? Grab her left arm. Stop it. You're crazy. How about you don't steal from writing?
I did not steal anything. Take her.
After the incident, the officers placed the victim in a police cruiser and drove her to the station, with the child's grandmother arriving to pick up the toddler. In the end, the mother was charged with trespassing and issued an appearance ticket, despite a lack of evidence to prove that she was responsible for knocking merchandise off the store's shelves or refusing to leave when requested. Furthermore, City Council President Loretta Scott called the incident unacceptable and said that it had severely traumatized the little girl. Shani Wilson, the chair of the city's Police Accountability Board, also criticized the officers for failing to summon mental health professionals and for their lack of effort in de-escalating the situation. As a result, the officer who arrested the mother was placed on administrative duty pending an internal investigation. However, as of the date of this recording, there's been no news regarding that investigation. Be sure to check out our previous video where we cover another outrageous police encounter.